You know, we spend so much of our lives online, but have you ever really stopped to think about who or maybe what is shaping the reality you see there? Because it's not just you making choices. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the filter bubble, this invisible architecture that is quietly and constantly customizing your digital world.
So picture this. You're scrolling through your feed, just browsing, and you see a post. But before you even read the headline, your eyes snap to something else, a number. How much does that little piece of social proof, that little number, really influence what you do next?
Maybe it's a huge number, something like this, 150,000 likes, and instantly your brain goes, whoa. It feels important, doesn't it? It feels validated, like something you absolutely should pay attention to. And look, that impulse, it's totally human. We are wired to follow the crowd. It's a survival instinct baked right into us. But here's the catch. Online, that crowd can be a total illusion, and following it can lead us right down a rabbit hole of echo chambers and misinformation.
This brings us directly to what we're calling the engagement trap. It's this subtle but incredibly powerful force that shapes our behavior online, often without us even realizing what's happening.
And this isn't just a hunch. We've got the data. A Harvard study with over 8,500 people found something crystal clear. The more likes and shares a post had, the more likely other people were to share it. And here's the scary part. It didn't even matter if the post came from a source they knew was low credibility. The number was just that powerful.
The thing is, this isn't an accident. It's the whole point. The platforms are built from the ground up to be engagement engines, and they're fueled by emotion. Research shows that posts using moral or emotional words get shared way more. So the entire system is built to reward a strong reaction over, facts or accuracy.
Okay, so this engagement trap doesn't just get us to click and share. It's actually piece by piece building the walls of our own personal reality bubbles. So let's take a look at how that happens from the inside.
It really boils down to two powerful forces working together, almost like a tag team. The first one is internal. It's our own psychology, specifically something called confirmation bias. And the second is external. It's the technology itself, driven by a principle called network homophily.
Let's start with us. Confirmation bias. We all do this. It's our natural human tendency to look for and give more weight to information that already fits with what we believe. Our brains just love being told we're right, and they actively seek out stuff that gives us that feeling. Now let's look at the tech. Network homophilia is basically the digital version of birds of a feather flock together. The algorithms are specifically designed to find patterns, to connect you with people who think like you, posts you're probably going to agree with, and ideas that feel comfortable and familiar. It is literally an engine designed to show you more of the same.
And this quote just captures the result perfectly. Through networked homophilia, sameness becomes the gaze with which we hold upon the world. Just think about that for a second. The algorithm isn't just giving you what you want. It's fundamentally narrowing your entire field of vision. It's shrinking your world.
So we've got our own psychology and the algorithm working in tandem. But who decides how the algorithm works in the first place? Well, to understand that, we need to zoom out and look at the system's blueprint, the hidden design that makes all these bubbles so profitable.
Here is something that is absolutely crucial to understand. Technology is never neutral. Every app, every algorithm, has values and goals baked right into its code. It's not just about what's technically possible, it's about what the creators want to happen. This is what's known as a technical code. It's when a business goal, like, say, keep users on the platform as long as possible to sell more ads, gets translated directly into how the technology works. This code prioritizes that one outcome above everything else, whether that's our well-being or the health of public debate. And the platform owners can do this because of something called operational autonomy. In simple terms, it's their freedom to make these massive design decisions without any real input from us, the actual users. It lets them build a system that benefits them first and foremost.
Now, this might all sound a bit abstract, talking about codes and autonomy, but the consequences, they are anything but abstract. Let's look at the real-world fallout when these biased systems start making decisions that affect people's actual lives.
A huge investigation by ProPublica looked into an algorithm called Compass, which is used in courtrooms to predict how likely a defendant is to reoffend. The results were staggering. Black defendants were wrongly flagged as being high risk at nearly double the rate of white defendants. And at the same time, white defendants were much more likely to be incorrectly labeled as low risk. The code had devastating, real-world, discriminatory consequences. And it is not just the justice system.
I mean, Amazon famously had to scrap an AI recruiting tool because it literally taught itself to be sexist. It had learned from a decade of resumes that were mostly from men, so it started penalizing any CV that included the word women's or mentioned graduating from an all-women's college.
The problem is just everywhere. We see this thing called bias amplification, where an AI can actually make discrimination worse than it was in the data it learned from. We see flawed facial recognition systems that are way less accurate for women and people of color, which has led to actual wrongful arrests. And these same bad tools can be used to monitor protesters, creating a real chilling effect on free speech.
So the main takeaway here is that these aren't just glitches or random errors. In many cases, the system is working exactly as it was designed to. It's just designed using biased data and flawed principles that value profit and efficiency over fairness.
Okay, I know that was a lot of heavy stuff, but it is not hopeless. So for this final part, let's talk about solutions, both for us as individuals and for the system as a whole. How do we escape?
All right, on a personal level, we can start popping our own bubbles. Step 1, just acknowledge that the bubble exists. Your feed is not a neutral window onto the world. It's a mirror. Step 2, actively diversify your sources. Go out of your way to find credible outlets that have different viewpoints. Third, make an effort to learn about people and experiences that are different from your own. And finally, just be mindful. Before you hit share on that post that makes you really angry, pause and ask yourself why it's making you feel that way. But look, individual actions can only get us so far. We also need big, systemic change. And this slide lays out a really fascinating proposal. What if we regulated high-stakes AI the same way we regulate medicine? Think about it. Before a drug can be sold, it has to go through these intense, mandatory phases of testing for safety and effectiveness. We could demand the same thing for algorithms that decide if someone gets a job or gets parole. We're talking initial lab testing, bias impact assessments, and real-world monitoring to make sure they aren't causing massive harm. It's about treating code with the same seriousness we treat chemicals.
And all of this leaves us with one final big question to think about. For years, the technical code of our social world has been optimized for one single thing: engagement. But what if we changed the blueprint? What would an algorithm that was designed not for a quick reaction, but for deep understanding? What would that even look like?